The great council hall floated in deep space, surrounded by glowing stars and silent shadows. Inside, the most powerful alien leaders of the galaxy had gathered. Their faces were grim, their eyes heavy with fear. The council speaker, an ancient being with silver skin and a voice like thunder, stood slowly. "This is our final warning," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Do not provoke the humans. Do not go near Earth. If you value your worlds, leave them alone." Whispers spread through the room. Some nodded in agreement. They had seen what humans could do, but far across the stars, in the heart of the Varnak Empire, laughter filled a war chamber. "Humans," growled General Krez of the Varnaks, "they are clever monkeys." "Nothing more," his officers roared with laughter. "The council fears them because the council is weak," another shouted. They had seen the humans, small, emotional, full of chaos. To the Varnaks, they looked soft and slow, not like warriors. So they planned. Quietly, boldly, their ships moved into position near human space. Their spies sent false reports. Their scientists prepared strange new weapons. No one had ever dared touch Earth, but the Varnaks were ready to become the first. They didn't know it yet, but they had already made their first mistake. The Council's warning was not based on fear. It was based on memory, on scars, on stories never written in books, but carved into history by fire and loss. The stars had seen what humans could become when they were tested. Now the Varnaks were about to see it too. Varnak warships moved through the dark like silent predators. Their black holes shimmered near Saturn's rings, hidden from Earth's sensors. The Varnak commander, Zelter, stood on the bridge of his lead ship, staring at the blue planet far in the distance. "All human satellites in Sector 4 destroyed," a soldier reported. "Good," Zeltar said, smiling. "No response yet." None. Earth remained silent. He laughed. "Then we strike harder." With one command, a blast of plasma cut through a human listening post orbiting Titan. The station exploded into dust, floating quietly into the void. Still, Earth said nothing. No message, no warning, no retaliation. Zeltor frowned. Why aren't they responding? The bridge grew quiet. For a moment, even the stars outside felt still. Then a message came through. One word, understood. It wasn't sent from a government, not from a ship. It came from deep within Earth's network, through firewalls even the Varnaks couldn't crack. It was cold. Final Zelter felt a chill run down his spine. "Track the origin," he barked. "We can't," his crew replied. "It bounced through hundreds of satellites. It's like it wanted us to read it." The silence that followed was heavier than before. Elsewhere in the galaxy, a few council members watched the event unfold. One of them, an old Trelec historian, closed his eyes and whispered, "They gave them a chance. Now they will answer." Zelter didn't know it yet, but Earth had just marked them. The Varnaks thought they had made the first move, but in truth, humanity had just begun the game. Days passed, then weeks. No human fleets moved, no threats were sent. Earth remained completely still. The Varnaks began to whisper among themselves. "Are the humans afraid? Maybe they are weaker than we thought." Commander Zelter stood proud. "See," the council lied, "Earth is nothing." But far beneath the silence, something was shifting. On the edge of the Varnak border, a patrol ship vanished. No distress call, no explosion, just gone. Then a second ship disappeared, and a third. At first, the Varnaks blamed pirates. Then, malfunction. But deep down, some began to feel uneasy. Across the galaxy, on a secret station orbiting a dying star, Earth's strategic response team watched everything. A woman in a black uniform stared at a map, showing Varnak ships. She tapped one. "Target locked. Retaliation?" her officer asked. She didn't blink. Correction? Far in space, a Varnak transport passed a small asteroid field. Nothing unusual, then the stars around them went dark. In less than 4 seconds, their engines melted. Communications fried. Their ship was torn apart by something that was never seen. No warnings, no signals, just silence and destruction. Back in the Varnak capital, confusion turned into worry. "Something is wrong," Zeltor admitted. "They're doing something, but no one knew what." What they didn't understand was this. Humans don't scream, they prepare. Earth wasn't scared, it was studying, calculating, remembering. They weren't waiting to react. They were choosing how to end the war before it even truly began. The Varniks had forgotten one simple truth: Earth never forgets. It was drifting, silent, cold, unmarked. A strange object appeared on the edges of Varnik space. No life signs, no communication, no known design, just a black, sharp vessel moving slowly through the void. The Varnak scout ship Trelga 5 was the first to see it. Captain Rorak stared at it through the view screen. "It's not in our database," he muttered. "No engines, no power. Maybe it's wreckage." His second officer frowned. "Should we destroy it?" Rorak shook his head. "No, bring it aboard. Let's study it." That was their second mistake. They pulled the object into their docking bay. It was made of smooth black metal. No lights, no markings, just one line engraved near the edge. E-77, Non-Human Response Unit. Inside the Trelga 5, the object suddenly came alive, not with lights, but with movement. Sharp panels unfolded, spikes grew, tiny flying drones poured out like smoke. Screams filled the ship. One by one, the crew fell. No alarms, no explosions, just precision. Clean, terrifying precision. By the time the Varnak command received the emergency call, it was already too late. The transmission showed only static, and then a single sentence in simple Earth standard. "Test complete." The Varniks were stunned. "What was that thing?" asked a council advisor. Zeltor clenched his jaw. It wasn't a ship. He was right. It was a message, a demonstration, a whisper from Earth spoken in the language of fear. The ship had no crew, no mercy. It was not designed to fight. It was designed to end, and it had a name now. Whispered in Varnak military circles, the ghost from Earth. It was drifting, silent, cold, unmarked. A strange object appeared on the edges of Varnak space. No life signs, no communication, no known design. Just a black, sharp vessel moving slowly through the void. The Varnak scout ship Trelga 5 was the first to see it. Captain Rorak stared at it through the view screen. "It's not in our database," he muttered. "No engines, no power. Maybe it's wreckage." His second officer frowned. "Should we destroy it?" Rorak shook his head. "No, bring it aboard. Let's study it." That was their second mistake. They pulled the object into their docking bay. It was made of smooth black metal. No lights, no markings, just one line engraved near the edge. E-77, Non-Human Response Unit. Inside the Trelga 5, the object suddenly came alive, not with lights, but with movement. Sharp panels unfolded, spikes grew, tiny flying drones poured out like smoke. Screams filled the ship. One by one, the crew fell. No alarms, no explosions, just precision. By the time the Varnak command received the emergency call, it was already too late. The transmission showed only static, and then a single sentence in simple Earth standard. "Test complete." The Varniks were stunned. "What was that thing?" asked a council advisor. Zeltor clenched his jaw. It wasn't a ship. He was right. It was a message, a demonstration, a whisper from Earth, spoken in the language of fear. The ship had no crew, no AI voice, no mercy. It was not designed to fight. It was designed to end. And it had a name now, whispered in Varnak military circles. The ghost from Earth. "You said." 5 ChatGPT said. "The mistake that started a war in the Varnak Royal War Chamber." Fury boiled. "This is an insult," barked High Commander Zeltor. "They send us shadows and machines. Where is their courage?" He slammed his fist on the table. "Humans are hiding behind toys. Enough." His advisors looked uneasy. 3 more ships had gone dark. No debris, no black boxes, no trace. But pride clouded the room like thick smoke. Zeltor stood tall. "Send Earth a message. Demand their surrender. If they refuse, we burn their planet." A transmission was sent to Earth. It was loud, arrogant, filled with threats. The Varniks waited. For hours, there was silence. Then Earth replied. It wasn't a video, not a speech. It was a set of numbers. "Coordinates?" Zeltor frowned. "Coordinates for what?" The answer came 10 minutes later, across every Varnak sensor in the sector. A long-dead asteroid, floating harmlessly in deep space, suddenly lit. Up for a moment, it shimmered like glass. Then it disappeared. No explosion, no noise. Just erased. Varnak scientists screamed. That wasn't a weapon, it was something else. Earth's message followed. This is the soft option. Do not ask for the hard one. For the first time, the Varnak throne. The room went silent. Zelter's hands trembled. What have we done? The council had warned them. Earth was not a threat because of its size or its firepower. It was a threat because humans waited, watched, and only struck when it was. Already too late, the Varniks had demanded war. They thought they were ready, but all they had done was give Earth permission to begin. The Varnak High Command called for a meeting of emergency status. Their fleets were losing contact. Entire stations were vanishing without trace. Fear was spreading, but no one wanted to admit it. Then, something strange happened. A small human transport ship entered Varnak space, unarmed, unescorted, and broadcasting a single message, requesting diplomatic landing. Clearance code, Omega Gray. They should have destroyed it, but curiosity won. The ship landed on Varnak Prime in the heart of the Empire. No guards came out. Only one human stepped onto the landing platform, tall.com, dressed in a gray uniform, with no rank, no flag, no weapons. He walked into the war hall without speaking. Guards aimed their weapons. The human looked at them once. They lowered their guns without being told. Zelter stood to speak. "Who are you?" the human finally replied. His voice was quiet, but every word hit like thunder. "You may call me Gray." Zelter forced a laugh. "You came alone." Gray stared at him. "No, I came first." The silence that followed felt like gravity pressing down on the room. "I am here with one offer," Gray continued. "Stop, surrender, leave Earth, and never return." Zeltor's pride rose again. "And if we refuse?" Gray walked forward, slowly. The guards stepped back without knowing why. "You already refused," he said. "This is your chance to regret it." Before regret becomes extinction, he turned and walked out. No threats, no shouting, no emotion, just a warning. The last. Varnak scout who saw his ship leaving said it disappeared into space like a shadow melting into darkness. From that day on, all Varnak commanders knew his name. Not as a diplomat, not as a man, but as something else entirely. Earth's final message, it began with silence. Then came the darkness. 3 moons orbiting Varnak colonies vanished not destroyed, not shattered erased. One moment they existed, the next. Empty space, no explosion. No debris, no radiation, nothing. Panic swept through Varnak space. Zelter demanded answers. How is this possible? Who did this? A scientist replied with shaking hands, "It's human tech, but not like anything we've ever seen." Across dozens of sectors, Varnak ships powered up shields and weapons. Alarms blared. Defenses locked into position. But the enemy never appeared. There were no fleets, no battles, only systems going dark one by one. Varnak outposts received a strange signal before going silent. Not a threat, not even a voice, just a repeating phrase. "We warned you." And then, ... silence. High Command called for reinforcements. But the ships sent never arrived. One admiral, desperate for hope, ordered a probe to be sent toward Earth. The probe returned within minutes. Inside was a recording, a human child, standing in front of a burning alien flag. He whispered, "You started it." Zelter stared at the screen in disbelief. This can't be real. This isn't war. This is slaughter. In truth, it wasn't. War, it was a response. The Varniks had thrown the first punch. Earth didn't punch back. It removed the ring. This wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about rage. It was about correction. And by the time the Varniks realized it, Earth had already answered. In the shadowed halls of the Varnik Palace, the Queen's voice trembled. "Stop this madness, we beg you." Across the galaxy, a human face appeared on a glowing screen. Calm, cold, empty of anger. "We did," the human said simply. For 10 years, the Queen's eyes filled with tears. "Why? Why continue if you do not want war?" The human's gaze did not soften, because peace must be earned. Behind the screen, Earth's fleets stood silent but ready, machines built not for battle, but for final judgment. The Varniks had been given chances, warnings, time. They laughed, ignored, and attacked first. Now, they faced a force not fueled by hate, but by cold justice. The queen swallowed her pride. "Is there no hope?" the human answered. "Hope is not given, it is taken. For every colony erased, every ship lost, a message was sent not just to the Varnics, but to the entire galaxy. Do not test humanity." The Galactic Council watched helplessly as the Varnics suffered. They had failed to listen. The price was clear, and for the Varnics regret had come. Too late, the Galactic Council gathered once more in their great chamber, the air thick with tension and fear. The events of the past decade had changed everything. Old alliances were broken. New fears had spread like wildfire. The council speaker stood, his voice steady but grave. "There is only one rule now," he declared. "Do not touch Earth." Murmurs filled the room. Some were relieved, others filled with dread. The galaxy had learned a harsh lesson. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a force, a silent flame burning deep and slow, ready to consume any who dared challenge it. Varnock space was empty now, ghost worlds, with nothing left but silence. Other species watched carefully, knowing the price of ignoring the warnings. In classrooms across the stars, children learned the story. They asked why Earth was called the Silent Flame. Their teachers replied, "Because it burns only once, and nothing survives." From this day forward, the galaxy respected Earth not out of fear, but out of hard-earned respect. The new law was simple, but powerful. Never provoke humanity, because the price was always too high. Years passed, the stars kept shining, but the galaxy was never the same again. Alien children gathered around their teachers, eyes wide with curiosity. "Why is Earth called the Silent Flame?" one little alien asked. The teacher smiled sadly. "Because Earth is quiet but deadly. It waits in silence, and when it burns, nothing survives." Legends grew about the humans, how they didn't shout, didn't rage, but acted swiftly and without mercy. No one challenged Earth anymore. The Galactic Council had warned everyone long ago. And now, the galaxy remembered, not just the humans' power, but their patience, their silence, and their final unstoppable strike. From the farthest edges of space to the deepest corners of every world, one truth remained clear. Humanity is a force not to be ignored. The silent flame of Earth still burns, waiting quietly for the next time it must rise. And when it does, the stars themselves will tremble.